accidents are terrifying experiences. You're hurt, and you need someone on your side who understands. Call the Advocates. They have over 20 years' experience with accident cases and have recovered settlements for hundreds of other motorcyclists. They can handle the medical bills and deal with the insurance company so you can focus on recovering and getting back on your bike. The Advocates are my motorcycle attorneys.
You deserve clear, risk-free advice to help get you back on your feet. You deserve an advocate.
This is the Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find the Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, the Monty Show, live on your YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, your mom's face, everywhere that you've ever wanted it. That's probably too much this early. Hi, how are you? Presented by the Advocates, theadvocates.com. All this rain yesterday, amazing thunderstorms, amazing rain, amazing lightning. If you were in an accident yesterday, because I've never understood it. The snow rain driver that shows up, never understood it. But if you were in an accident, make sure you get to theadvocates.com. Please, I beg you. And I know I probably say this too much, and if you work in the insurance industry, I don't care. I think insurance is a scam. It's a scam. Like, I'm looking at getting Invisalign. Does my Delta Dental cover that? It doesn't. Does it help with that? No, it doesn't. Is dental insurance worthless like tits on a cat? They are. I mean, it's amazing to me how little your insurance company wants to help you. That's why you have to find somebody that will fight for you, who will get you what you deserve, what you've earned. That's the Advocates. That's right. You didn't deserve to get in an accident. You do deserve an advocate, whether you're on a motorcycle, whether you get hit by a semi-truck. Did you get hurt at work? Absolutely. The Advocates handle workman's comp. Hook it up, theadvocates.com, where you can chat live online with an attorney 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. Hello to everybody on Twitter. Can you guys hear me? Is it working okay? Are there any is Axe dealing with any technical trouble? There might have been in some trouble. They had difficulties getting the mainframe and the modem and shit to connect. Cashless last night. How? Man, you know you're going to have millions of people, and how? Hey, it happens. It happens. So hello to everybody on X this morning. Hello, Mr. Preston. Hey, Marty. Mr. Praystone, how are you? Bro, I think about you every day when I walk up into my kitchen, and the power arm thing to raise the back of my Jeep is just sitting there on the table.
Yeah, it's power raising the table.
Supposedly plug and play. Doubt that. Not for my skill set. Mike Smith, hello, Mountain Mama. Free tacos from the Monty Show. It is Taco Tuesday.
The Morty and Jackie Show.
I wasn't going to read that part of it, but thanks.
Sorry, my bad.
Jake reads the comments on the show now.
My bad.
When he chooses to work. Free tacos from the Morty and Jackie Show. Marty, Morty, Mary, same thing.
Right.
Same thing. Hit the like button, please do. The real Pete Forte. Good morning. I thought this was a Big 12 show. And that's why Roche is here. And he says, I guess Isaac Wilson won the backup job. Not I guess. Did you guys see that Utah named? You didn't.
Yes, I did.
God doesn't even like football. They named the former Corner Canyon star the backup quarterback, which means he's probably going to play because Cam Rising's going to fart and pull a labial muscle. So you got to watch that stuff. It's Tuesday. It's only Tuesday.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's only Tuesday. I'm in an ornery mood today. I'll admit it. Rain last night, didn't get to play golf. Tea times are a racket in this town.
I don't know how you can work into these conditions.
I woke up, I set an alarm for 4:00 this morning to make sure that I got a tea time at a local golf course. Because, it's every 7 days. So you're kind of sold out. 4 a.m. 4 a.m. Not a fucking tea time on the sheet. Set my alarm.
You got up at 4 a.m. and it still was full.
Sold out. I'm telling you, it's a scam in Salt Lake City. Tea times in Salt Lake City are a scam. Welcome to the nightmare. Scott of Graywater Watch. We are one day closer to college football. We are. Let's get the show started right meow. See what he did right? Meow, meow, meow. See what he did there? Pussy. What? He made a cat noise. Grow up.
No.
Grow up. San Diego State Glenn. Some of the hyenas love it when you beg, Monty. No. See, it's going to be that kind of show today.
It is. You could just tell.
Yes, Glass City Buck. Out of pocket. 100%. T. Lawrence Gragston. Hello. Where the hell have you been? Finally, you guys live. ACC is trash water. No wonder Florida State and Clemson went out. Let's talk about the AP poll because I think that's an interesting segue you just made there. See, you're a professional now. AP Top 25 is out. And there it is. There it is. And you see the SEC and the Bucks are up there. Oregon. Texas is back again. Did you see Ole Miss got another one? Ole Miss, who I think is absolutely going to the college football playoff. Another SEC team in. Notre Dame, our father. Notre Dame's going to disappoint me. Those of you new to the show, I'm a massive Notre Dame fan.
Notre Dame, our mother.
Yes, I'm losing weight, but still a massive Notre Dame fan. Pedo State, the Cheaters. Oh, look, an ACC team in the top 10. Looks like they're healthy, right? No. Here's my question for you. Did the ACC get hosed in this here top 25? Because my question, and I'm being serious in all seriousness, how does the ACC get any more than one team in the college football playoff? Because you look at Florida State, okay, let's just default that Florida State's going to win the ACC championship. Let's agree on that.
I think we all agree on that, yeah.
They're in. Anybody believing in Clemson?
Oh.
Clemson's 14th. Okay, well, that's Tennessee. Is Tennessee they're not in the ACC. Oklahoma. Nope, they're not in the.
No.
Mike Gundy's DUI attorney, are they in the? They're not in the ACC either. K-State, nope. Ooh, Miami at 19. Miami. So, do you think Clemson, Miami, any chance that one of those teams gets into the top 12? Man, I just can't see it. Not where you are. And if you look at the ACC's plight, right, and you quickly start to understand that if you are not in the top 25 now, it's going to be very difficult. And with 4 teams ranked in the poll, I think you are going to have a real problem finding matchups. Look at Miami's schedule, for instance. Let's just look at Miami, because I think the other thing we can all probably agree on is if you're 20 or below, and really if you're 15 or below, you better have big games on your schedule, right? Like you got
to be able to make a splash.
You better have the ability to say, wow, I beat Florida? Probably not. Florida A&M? Probably not. Ball State, South Florida, Virginia Tech, Cal, Louisville, and then there's one game. October 26th. Florida State goes to SoFlo.
But again, for the ACC's purposes, if Florida State loses that game, they're not in the college football playoff at that point.
And here's my question about Miami. If Miami, let's say Miami loses to Florida State, how do they get back up in the poll? You don't. You're dead. You're dead.
Well, that's
okay.
The issue, isn't it?
Well, Marty, don't forget about Clemson, Marty. Okay, let's look at Clemson. So Clemson obviously is in a very precarious situation. They come out of the gates pretty soft with Georgia. They open against Georgia. Now, I know I just do a little talk show here on YouTube. What if Clemson loses to Georgia? I misspoke. When they lose to Georgia, what game gets them back up into the top 20? Because if they lose to Georgia, I think they drop 20 to 25.
But I still think when you lose to a team that is that good, number one team in the country by the polling, you still have the opportunity. If that was the only game you lost.
But do you? When the Big Ten is as deep as the Big Ten is, and you have teams in the Big 12 well-positioned throughout the poll, including Utah and Oak State and K-State and Kansas, who are all elite football teams, you would think, if you lose to Georgia, here's the rest of your schedule. Oh, immediate opportunity to bounce back on the ACC network against Appy State. Okay, here's another interesting conundrum. So you have a 1-1 Clemson team taking on NC State, who is 24th in the AP poll. Okay, so who's playing that game to die? Because whoever loses that game is out of any possible contention,
right,
for the college football playoff.
Right.
Okay, let's give it to Clemson. So Clemson, then they play Stanford, then they're at Florida State. Dude, it's over. It's over. You're not going to Tallahassee and beating Florida State, right? Clemson, I don't see any way with this schedule that Clemson makes the college football playoff. I don't see any way. And you look at these rankings.
Yeah, it's over here.
Yeah. So NC State done. Miami has a very, very difficult path. And I think Clemson's a 3-loss team. Florida State is the only ACC team that has a legitimate opportunity to make the college football playoff. And I think that's because they're going to win the ACC championship.
I was going to say, yeah, their only reason they're doing that is because of the auto bid system. So
I think this is a very, very difficult AP top 25 for the ACC.
Well, and I think the problem is when you look at this, this poll, it's like, dude, like even if you were to compare the ACC to like the Big 12 just is a stronger conference on the football field overall.
Well, and Utah's got a very difficult road. I mean, you have very little margin for error. I think we all know that, right? You look at Oak State. I think Oak State is not making the college football playoff. I'm not a buyer. I know it's Alan Bowman, and he's no Preston Stone, but he'll do. I don't see Oak State as a college football playoff team. I think in the Big 12, it's going to come down to how good is Kansas? Because Kansas, you look at Kansas, obviously, there's a couple of games here on their schedule that we're going to find out pretty quick, right? But I think Kansas has an opportunity here to be in the Big 12 championship game. Now, they also have an incredibly difficult start to the season with Lindenwood.
Yay!
Bro, I thought you just said Lindenwood.
That game is in 16 days. 2 weeks from this weekend. We get Rock Chalk Lindenwood. At Illinois, UNLV, at West Virginia.
Stay hard.
TCU, Arizona State. West Virginia is obviously their first opportunity to lose a football game.
Yeah.
Because I love my not fighting Illini and huge face Bielema, but they're KU. I think KU. I think they're going to play for the Big 12 championship. I think they are that good. I'm just stupid old Marty. I get
Marty.
it. TCU at Arizona State, Houston at Kansas State, October 26th. Don't just right now understand that you're busy all day October 26th. That is the best weekend of the college football season. Mark it down. You're busy that day. And that morning you're going to your butcher and you're getting your wings, you're getting your burnt ends, you're getting, don't be an idiot and eat pizza. It's terrible for you. You're getting your pizza, like that's the day where you have like 3 cases of Modelo on ice. All the boys are coming over. You got the Traeger fired up. You're playing golf in the backyard and you're watching football all day long.
This case is empty.
That's it. That's October 26th. You're busy, dude.
Yeah.
Iowa State at BYU, Colorado at Baylor. That's a 1-loss schedule. If KU is as good as I think they are, that's a 1-loss schedule, and I think it might be West Virginia.
Yeah.
I think it might be West Virginia.
To go and play.
And yet I leave this up here because if that's a 1-loss KU team, they're going to be in the Big 12 championship game. And I think they will have a real opportunity, even if they wind up playing Utah. Kansas has a legitimate opportunity.
Well, I mean, think about what that would look like at the end of the season when we're really talking about, if they're there, if KU's there, and it's like, hey, they're you're undefeated, let's say, headed to the Big 12 championship game, and let's say that you lose to Utah. At that point, you still have an incredibly strong case because
yes.
I don't think that they'd get blown out by Utah. I think you probably lose that game by 10 points, maybe. If all things are square,
if everybody's healthy, Utah's a better football team.
Yeah,
just because that defense is just nails. But I'm telling you, I know I'm the only one, and I routinely get ass beat in the comment section for this. I believe Kansas is better than K-State. And I think that when you look at that, they're going to play at Arrowhead and they're going to have environment, they're going to have fan base, and there are a few more rabid fan bases than KU. I love Kansas fans. Everybody thinks that they're just this little old basketball school with Bill Self, and I'm warning you right now, that's a football program.
And I think that the only problem, the only volatility in their football program right now is lack of depth, injury-wise. We saw that play out last year at the quarterback position. Your starter gets hurt, and your backup isn't terrible, but I just think the team was different. Watching them, it was clear that, hey, you were essentially just trying to get by last year. And I think that if you
100%,
if you want to take a run at the college football playoff, like you're gonna have to stay healthy. And really for Kansas specifically, I think you're gonna have to run the ball because
Jalen Daniels has to stay healthy.
Like he got hurt, he got hurt because he was running too much last year. Not to say that he was that guy that was trying to run for first downs constantly, but I felt like last year he was just on the run a lot. He was forced out of the pocket a lot, and he had exposure. There's no question about it. He had exposure. He got hit a lot. Like, things happen. So, when you look at the graph and you start to say, okay, well, hey, the Big 12's got a couple of teams here. We know what to expect out of Oklahoma State. I think it's a massive question mark in Tucson as to what Arizona is going to be. A lot of people think they're going to be good. There are some people who think they're going to be trash. I tend to believe that they're going to be fine.
How are they?
But
I don't think they're going to be trash. But I'm one of the people. I don't get the Arizona hype.
Yeah, well, I just don't understand how people think that they're going to be.
I don't get it.
Well, 2 weeks ago there was that ranking, the preseason Big 12 ranking or whatever,
yes,
talking about how Arizona, I think, was like a top 4 team or whatever. And I don't understand how there are people out here, looking at Arizona that way when you've got a change at head coach. Obviously, you were able to keep your quarterback and keep some talent.
The fighting Fafitas.
Yeah, but you lost a good bit of talent, So it's like, I don't know, man. I would agree that Arizona's style of play, high-flying offense, push it down the field type of offense, I would agree that caters well in the Big 12, especially when you think about the Big 12 being a conference that is a little bit more physical, running the ball more. So if you can come out here and get good protection and push the ball down the field, you're going to be in a good spot. But I don't think they're good enough to go out and somehow be in the conference championship hunt, halfway through the season. I just would be surprised.
I don't know how you have Arizona so high up when I just don't think they're going to be able to run the ball effectively. I mean, that was probably their Achilles heel. last year. I mean, Jonah Coleman leaving is a huge loss for them. Obviously, he went to Washington with Jed, but I mean, you can't tell me that Conley's coming in and he's going to be 1,000-yard rusher when he only ran for 840 last year at San Jose State. I just feel like Arizona is going to be. Is Arizona going to be trash? No. Are they Garbo? No. Are they amazing and competing for the conference? They're not.
I think they're that team this year that's good enough to beat you, but you would expect to come out of Tucson with a victory. Like if you don't play a good game, like if you go to their place, you turn the football over, you give them extra chances, you do the things you're not supposed to do as a football team, they're going to beat you. They are. They're good enough in that way to beat you.
I think they're going to be able to defend. I mean, they kept a lot of their top defensive talent, but it's going to be offensive. You're going to have somebody break out and surprise you. And I think Arizona's good. They're not great.
Yeah.
They're middle of the Big 12.
So you look at the AP preseason poll, and the fact that Arizona is on this graphic is wild to me because
that they're 21st on this graphic.
Utah, obviously, Oklahoma State, obviously. I'm not sure that I agree with the K-State and Kansas positions. I think those two should be flipped, but Arizona being there is surprising.
Go cover MLS AP writer. In this, I think that's a lot, but the game has changed now. I understand that you have, hey, I cover the MLS in Minnesota, and I'm going to have a vote in the AP poll. There's a lot of that in the AP poll. Here's where the rubber meets the road, though. When you look at this right here, and you particularly third row down, that you have LSU at 13 is a huge bump for the SEC, and Tennessee at 15. That Oklahoma is 16th. What has Oklahoma done to justify being top 25 right now? That's wild to me with the turnover that he had on that roster. That Oak State is 17th and Utah is 12th.
Well, and you look at USC there down at the bottom, which is another interesting piece of this poll. I think that, so a lot of people want to make a big to-do about the fact that the SEC has 9 teams on this graph, and obviously the Big Ten's got some nice representation.
But
here.
How many people got first place votes in this poll? Am I the only one who noticed this? Because I don't feel like anybody's talking about this. 3. Georgia, the Bucks, and the Ducks.
Yeah.
And the Ducks only got 1.
Yeah.
What happened to, by Iowa at 25, you guys? Can we just be honest, please? And can we be honest? Their offense already looks like shit. And they haven't even played a game. Iowa State is going to... God, Matt Campbell, I'm begging you to be good this year. I seriously, I'll get Oak State James to go Preston Stone on you. If you... Please, I'm just begging you to win. And the word Ferentz should be banned in Iowa City because that offense is going to be junk.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Anyway, you look at the Big Ten. I think the Big Ten is a clear winner in the AP poll. And I know, and I'll go back to the coaches poll. Look at the coaches poll. And you look at Michigan at 8. You look at Michigan at 9. Okay. Florida State 10. LSU 12. They're 13th in the AP poll. They're not very different. But I think the subtleties of having Penn State at 8, Michigan at 9, Bucks and Ducks 2 and 3, you start looking at, USC, who ain't nobody caring about at 23. Go ahead and write off Lincoln. Go ahead. Write off Lincoln, Jake. Talk about how crappy of a coach and he's terrible and they're going to be Garbo and
because it's garbage.
Reggie Bush ain't walking through that door anytime soon. Totally get it. Marcus Allen murdered Al Davis. Totally
Reggie
get it.
Might not be walking back
Totally
with his
get it.
award, but Ohio State's walking through the A-gap. Just saying.
OJ's innocent. USC football. Fight on. Totally get it. I'm here for all of the USC hype. You guys just remember, good old fat ass Marty told you. Right off Lincoln Riley at your own peril.
The ink isn't dry yet.
Because you're going to look at a lot of these teams, and they are going to surprise.
Okay, let's do it one more time. Pull up the schedule. One more time. I'm here for it today. One more time. Come on. Do it for me.
Why would I do anything for you?
Well,
I don't really get it.
yeah, it's a fair point. It's a really fair
You want to
point.
pull up USC's schedule?
Just one more time.
Why? We have done this
Because
1,000
I
fucking
actually
times.
think that SC in the poll
Actually, SC
is one of the teams
listen,
that
if they
could
had
be the
Pete
biggest
Carroll-
mover.
If they had Pete Carroll and they still had that agreement with Bazooka Bubblegum, I mean, we could talk about USC winning games.
Y'all reading all this cap ass shit.
But Marty, let's be honest. It's Lincoln Riley. He doesn't win games, and he's a terrible coach. Just ask any Sooner fan.
Hold on, bro. Like,
yeah. Hopefully it's later than sooner that Lincoln Riley wins a game. I hate this conversation so much. LSU.
I think there's a chance they win that game. Actually, that's the one in Vegas, right? Isn't that in Vegas at Allegiant?
I think there's a chance they win that game.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah.
Jake, and I wish you would get it right. It is the Modelo Vegas kickoff classic.
Hell no.
Utah State
Dub.
at Michigan.
Dub.
Wisconsin.
Dub.
Do you guys see what I go through every day?
You do have this knack
Every
for
day.
just annoying the living hell out of me.
Every day. I come into the studio.
Oh, okay.
Freshly showered.
That's different.
Yeah, did you see the new research? The more the more prolific of a seed spreader you are, the less chance of the big C word coming through.
Bro.
So you shut your mouth. Anyway, but my point is, I show up at this studio every day and I just get piped.
Anita Dick and Ming.
Every day by this guy. Every day. Huh? Lincoln Riley doesn't put guys in the NFL. Well, he's got Caleb Williams with the Chicago Bears. Well, one off doesn't matter. Well, he also has.
My bad.
LSU is a loss for LSU. Utah State at Michigan, who I think is going to be out of the AP top 25.
No, seriously, when's their first loss? Seriously, because I think they're going to beat LSU. When is their first legitimate chance to lose?
We're going down the schedule.
I know. I'm asking
That's
you.
what we do. I think the Fighting Pedos from Penn State offer a very difficult challenge, although it's in Los Angeles. I think that Maryland game is very perilous. I think you have to you
it's
go
like a trap game kind of.
You go from Penn State in Los Angeles to Maryland at Maryland a week later. I think that's a very difficult flip. And then you turn right back around and play Rutgers at the Coliseum. There's a loss in there that will make Jake very happy. It's a Lincoln Riley game. I think that Maryland game is very much a danger game after Penn State. And I think their real difficult games on this schedule are, let's see what Michigan is. Well, we know what they are. They're cheaters. I think the Penn State game, I think the Washington game in Seattle.
Yeah.
And I think the
Notre Dame, of course.
But that game's in LA. And I'm telling you, and I'm not even being a bitter ass Notre Dame fan. I am telling you now that Notre Dame is going to fall flat on their face. And I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that I'm wrong. But as sure as I am sitting here, Marcus Freeman is not a premier coach in this country. And Marcus Freeman, everybody's talking about how Notre Dame's a lock and they're getting in. I'm telling you, Notre Dame's not going to the college football playoff this year. I'm not flying the fucking flag. It's not happening. It's staying in the closet.
Are you buying a Caleb Williams jersey for this
much
year?
like Jake, it's staying in the closet.
Right.
That flag for Notre Dame's not coming out because neither is Jake.
Hey,
And
look,
I'm
man.
just telling you now that Notre Dame is going to be a huge disappointment. There's just, I don't know how they avoid that.
And it sucks.
I don't know how they avoid that. Like, you really think they're beating Mike Elko and Texas A&M with Elko's former quarterback? Riley Leonard, the former quarterback at Duke under Mike Elko, is the starting quarterback for the Beloved, and you think they're gonna beat Texas A&M?
That's right.
Come on, guy. Bro, I've seen this movie before. I trust me. I've seen Rudy. Notre Dame on the field in 2024 is worse than the script for Rudy. It's that bad. I just, you're not going to Texas A&M and winning. Notre Dame
don't always have to be negative.
Well, it's Notre Dame football. You're not beating Florida State. You have one of the easiest schedules in the country. All you have to do is get up every day and make your bed during the season. That's it. And you should be in the college football playoff. You're not beating Florida State. You're not beating Texas A&M. You're not. You can't tell me you're going to Los Angeles and beating USC. All things being equal. You're not. You're not. You're not. USC is going to have an elite defense. Your quarterback's going to be injured by the time the second quarter starts in week 1.
I love how you're more sure that Notre Dame is or that USC is going to have an elite defense than Notre Dame going to the college football playoff.
I don't know how Notre Dame I don't know how USC's defense is not elite with the talent and the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Lincoln Riley, supposedly, according to people I've spoken to,
allegedly
is hands off on the defense, which is what he should have been for 10 years now. I think, now granted, he's only 27 years old, but my point is, as much football as Lincoln Riley has coached, it seems like it's finally gotten through. And that defense, I don't know how they're not one of the top defenses in the Big Ten. Honest to goodness, I think USC is going to be a top 3 defense in the Big Ten. I have that much faith in that staff and that talent. And I think the Big Ten's getting 4 teams in, and I think the SEC's getting 8 teams in. I think they're each getting a healthy share in it. And I don't think USC is a college football playoff team. I don't think their offense is ready for that. They're going to be markedly better this year than they were last year. And Notre Dame is not a college football playoff team. And you're going to be like, oh, Marty, just trying to get clicks. Call it what you want. I'm telling you now that Notre Dame is not elite, and I'm tired of hearing it. As a Notre Dame fan, it breaks my heart that Marcus Freeman thinks he's good enough to be the head football coach at Notre Dame. And I hope to God that I am wrong. I hope to God that I am wrong.
God bless.
No, I don't feel better. Sean Rollins, a new member of the Monty Show.
Go, Sean.
Sean, appreciate that. We do offer membership, but you do have to hit the like button. That's the first thing that has to happen. 500 views and 28 likes. Come on, let's go. Hit the like button. Do you think, how many teams does the ACC get in? In the comment section, let's do it. How many teams does the ACC get in? I think they get 1 in, and I think it's Florida State. And if Florida State, and I think there's a chance, but if Florida State goes to the ACC championship game undefeated, they could get 2 in. Only if Florida State loses the ACC championship. That,
Yeah.
Well, Sumbry, this is a really good question, because I think this is, comment dump. K. Sumbry, how far would Georgia drop if they took a loss to Clemson? 2 spots? 3 spots?
Maybe.
Can you see it? And this, I think this is fascinating, because if Clemson loses to Georgia, all right, we'll see you next year. Right? Like I think it's going to be very difficult for them to get into the college football playoff. If Georgia loses to Clemson, Georgia's schedule is, I think, stocked well enough. Is that the right? It's difficult enough. They have get-back opportunities. Obviously, you're in the SEC. Clemson, Tennessee Tech, at Kentucky, at number 5, Alabama.
Right.
Auburn, Mississippi State, at Texas.
Loads of chances to
Let's
get back.
say that you lose the Clemson game. and you go undefeated the rest of the way, they're in the college football playoff.
Yeah. Favored to win a national championship.
You would have won at Alabama. You would have won at Texas. You would have won at Ole Miss. And you would have beaten Tennessee. That's the difference between the ACC and the SEC.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting kicked in the groin every single week in this conference. Because, again, if you look at Ole Miss and you look at what Lane Train and his hot-ass girlfriend are doing, I'm telling you, he's getting into the college football playoff because he doesn't have the landmines on his schedule. He's got one, and he has it at home. And that'd be Georgia. And that game's November 9th.
Riding on that game for you, bud.
A ton. But LSU's not as good as they were last year, this year. So obviously he's got to go to LSU. But here's Ole Miss's schedule. Furman, MTS, Middle Tennessee State. At Wake, that's on the CW. Make sure you tune in. Georgia Southern, Kentucky. So at that point,
great. So you haven't played.
You're 5-0
until,
and you might not have given up a touchdown yet. You're 5-0. South Carolina, and I think South Carolina will be better, but you're 6-0. At LSU is your first real game. That game is October 12th. Bye week at home for Oklahoma, at Arkansas, home for Georgia, at Florida, home for Mississippi State. That's a college football playoff schedule. A couple big games, some prove-it games that'll impress people enough.
Right.
MLS soccer writer that happens to have an AP vote. He likes Lane Kiffin. Lane's in the media. That's a college football playoff schedule.
Yep.
So somebody to wonder, I think Georgia can get back. Georgia can get back. They've got quality games. RX says 2 for the ACC. You think they get 2 in? Dade says 2. You guys really think they get 2 in? How do they get 2 in?
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to have 2 one-loss teams. That's how. You'd have to have Clemson actually showing up.
Derek says 1. Scott of Graywater says 2. Florida State and the U. See, a lot of people are with you. A lot of people are with you on the U. And they've got, but again,
they got to prove it, bro. That you got to show me you're that good.
So if we look at the Canes and we say, okay, what is their path to the college football playoff look like? 19th in the country. At Florida, come on, that should be a win. If you're a college football team and you start the season at the Swamp with a loss, fuck off. Like, just okay, goodbye. Like that, and I'm serious. They're already, and I don't know that you care about this, and you probably don't even. There's so many hurdles for them just to make it to the field with budget and politics and culture. It is a disaster in Miami. I'm not even joking or using hyperbole. The University of Miami is in the hotbed of dysfunction. So just for them to have practice uniforms is a pretty good accomplishment. You go to the Swamp and lose, and I don't ever want to hear from you again. Florida A&M, Ball State, at South Florida. First game where you're like, okay. But you don't have the humidity to help you against Miami because Miami, that's a win. Virginia Tech. Now, Virginia Tech's interesting because a lot of people think Virginia Tech's way better this year. If you're a college football playoff team, you're beating Virginia Tech. And at that point, you're 5-0. At Cal, that's the first game where you're like, well, we got to get on an airplane and we got to fly across the country, Monty. 6-0. At Louisville, 7-0.
No, they're losing that game. I'm telling you, they're losing that game. That's the one. What'd Louisville do last year? Think about it.
Nothing compared to the talent that Miami has.
Yeah.
And Mario Cristobal, while he probably doesn't want to hear about Reser Stadium or big games,
or the fact that he hasn't done much in Miami,
he's going to beat Louisville. I think he loses to Florida State. And now this is where the rubber meets the road. Let's say that you are 7-0 with Florida State coming to Miami. If you win that game, you're in the ACC championship game. If you lose that game, are all hopes of going to the college football playoff over?
Pretty much, yeah.
I
don't
think
think
they
you
are.
can get back.
Because you've only got Georgia Tech, who's better. Georgia Tech football is going to have, I think, a bowl-worthy season. Wake Forest at Syracuse. By the way, Syracuse fan melting down in the comment section because I said that they don't have the financial wherewithal to play in a super league. They don't have the You're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars.
Cashless.
Well, they just redid the Carrier Dome, Monty.
Well, in Monty, they've got like 100,000 wins over the last 40 years, man. I mean, come on.
They don't have the financial wherewithal to compete at that level.
Vexes me. Terribly vexed.
If you beat Florida State, you're in. If you lose to Florida State, you're out.
Simple.
Mid-12 gets Utah in. That's it.
Oh, Big 12 hater. Okay.
Kay Sumbry, 1 to 2 teams for the ACC. T. Lawrence says 2 teams. Oak State James, stadium guy and lover of Preston Stone's phallic member.
Stay hard.
SEC 4, Big 10 3. Big 10 only gets 3 in. Okay. Big 12 gets 2, ACC gets 2. I think you're getting 1, and that is Miami's interesting. I think that's a really good point. I don't see how Clemson has a path. Not with Dabo there. Not with that.
How long can he hold on to that job? Like, how long, if you're Clemson, are you going to put up with that?
If he looks wildly untalented again this year, I think that he's going to start hearing about it. But you put massive forehead in the NFL and he's actually a competent quarterback. That's great. But I think the biggest damnation of Jesus incarnate at Clemson is that he is not a guy that's willing to pay players and use the portal at a prolific level. And I think that is a very big indictment.
We built this program on NIL.
It makes it tough. Bo says 1 to 2. T. Lawrence says Big 12 only getting 1 in. Okay. Who do we think is the best team in the Big 12? I'm pretty confident that it is Utah.
Yeah, and I think to pad that, I think, actually having a competent backup this year for Utah at quarterback is an improvement.
I think it's Utah. I think Kansas. I know. I'll just keep saying it.
Marty, you really like your Kansas.
I think Kansas is the second best team. I think K-State's third. I think Oak State's fourth. And I'm very curious to see
X factors are Tech and
Texas Tech, Iowa State.
Iowa State, certainly.
I think UCF is going to break balls. I think they're always tough to compete. Gus Malzahn.
Oh, what did West Virginia, what they have? 9 wins last year? Right?
Yeah, but they're going to win at home. I don't think that at some point somebody's going to figure out how to contain their run game. I think West Virginia, Penn State, Albany, at Pitt, Kansas, at Oak State, Iowa State, Kansas State, Arizona, at Cincinnati, Baylor, UCF, at Tech. They have a very difficult schedule. I think that's the team that could just absolutely be a wrecking ball for hopes and dreams, or they're a team that doesn't go to a bowl game.
Right.
Because they have an incredibly difficult schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, your road games are at Pitt, at Oak State, at Arizona, at Cincinnati, and at Tech. That's really difficult. That is a difficult schedule. And I mean, I just look at the rest of the conference. BYU's not ready, and I swear to God, if I hear one more BYU fan, no, Bohannon's the guy.
I just love the contrast between Utah and BYU on this stuff. Utah knows who their starter is, knows who the backup is ready to go. And what do I get yesterday? Might have been the day before. No, it would have been yesterday. Today's only Tuesday. What do I get yesterday at BYU practice? Aaron Roderick going on the mic at press availability saying, well, guys, you know what? I actually don't feel the need to choose a starter because the team's going to decide for me. So when the team's ready to decide who's going to be the starter, we'll know who the starter is, which I couldn't disagree with more. I do not subscribe to the idea that you just let these two guys play it out for as long as possible and we'll just see who's the better guy. Like, Retzloff has been here, bro. Like, Retzloff was the guy that, went through all the crap last year, filling in. He puts in all the work. He's ready to go. And what do I get out of the BYU media video people? Bohannon bombs and, Jerry. He's the best. Oh, my God. First day of fall camp. Jerry's throwing bombs. And Retzloff has been out here doing that, bro. Like, Retzloff has looked good. Retzloff has shown he's ready. So I just disagree with how, the coaching staff is going about this QB battle. And I think that the only reason that Bohannon is even in the conversation is because of his age and where he's at in his college career. And the fact that everyone wants to sell this guy as like some incredibly impactful transfer, and that's why he should have a look at this starting job. When the reality is that you don't need a guy to come in here for 1 year.
No, you do not.
You need someone to be in here for at least 2 seasons, and you need to have control at that position, which Bohannon can't give you.
Yeah, and I'm telling you now that Kalani is nothing if not loyal. And I think that when you have worked as hard as Jake Retzloff has worked, and you have looked as good as Jake Retzloff has looked, and you have the chemistry and you have the time spent with that locker room, it's Jake Retzloff's job to lose, and he has done nothing to lose that job. And I think when you look at the grand scheme of things, the Big 12, you look at where BYU is, it's a critical season for BYU. Because you are laying the foundation now with a lot of new talent, a lot of new leadership, year 2 of a really good coaching staff, Jay Hill's defense. I expect the BYU defense to be significantly better. Jake Retzloff is the obvious and only guy to be the starting quarterback at BYU. It's not necessarily all about this year. You've got to go to a bowl game this year. But for BYU, it's about building forward, momentum going forward.
Yeah.
And I don't see any other outcome here. I will be exceptionally disappointed because we haven't seen enough we have not seen enough of either guy to indict either guy. I think they're both having good camps from what I've heard and what I've read. I am not convinced, nor am I sold, that Bohannon has done enough to unseat Jake Retzloff. I just don't see that. And in my opinion, going forward, BYU is a critical piece of the Big 12 football puzzle. And you need to build that momentum. And I think Jake Retzloff is that guy. I do. And if they don't go to a bowl, I think Kalani Sitake is very much on a hot seat going into next season. There is no more room for disappointment or questions about quarterback.
Underachieving.
If you're Kalani Sitake, you need Jake Retzloff to be a really good quarterback for you. For this year, for next year, like you need him to achieve. Bohannon's a 1-year option. That's it. And that's not what this club needs. I'm telling you, it's not what this club needs at all in any way, shape, or form. Oak State James. West Virginia is beating Penn State in week 1. I wish that were the case. I hope Penn State never wins another game. This is the game James Franklin has typically won. And in my opinion, if you look at West Virginia's schedule, it's really difficult. Do you understand how important the Pitt game is this year? Like that game's going to matter to the fan base. It always matters, but that game's really going to matter to the fan base. And I'm here for it. I'll be honest with you. I think that game, what is that, 1 month from tomorrow, September 14th, at Pitt, that's a big game.
Yeah.
That's a big game. Because if you're West Virginia, I don't even know if West Virginia wins 4 games, are you firing Neil Brown? With that schedule, my God.
Probably not.
I mean, that as we talked about, that schedule is an absolute grinder. I don't know how you go to have lofty expectations. If you go to a bowl game, erect a statue. I mean, hell, they did it for a pedo at Penn State. Do it for Neil Brown.
Happy ending, Valley.
Mike Smith, West Virginia loses to Pedo State but wins versus Pitt. How important? Well,
yeah,
Mike, how important is that Pitt game this year? I think there's not going to be a lot of joy in Mountaineer country this year because of the schedule. Maybe there will. Maybe they surprised a lot of people last year. You remember last year at Big 12 Media Day, Neil Brown was like, all right, Neil Brown, West Virginia, we're going to run the ball. Hey, it's really good seeing you guys. We'll see you next year.
I remember.
I'm going to go ahead and take off.
Bro, we're sitting there and, I'm like trying to chase all these dudes down. And you're like, hey, did you see any of the West Virginia folks come through? And I was like, you know what? No, I didn't. I actually didn't see any of the West Virginia folks come through. So, it just is what it is, man.
And then the Texas pimps walk in and it's like, God damn, the whole room stopped moving.
We get it. Orange is bright in Texas.
If K-State beats Oak State in week 5, they will play Utah and Arlington. I think K-State's got to worry about Kansas.
Yeah.
Why am I the only one on the Kansas band? Am I just an idiot? Do I have no idea what I'm looking at? Am I the only one who thinks that Kansas is going to be really, really good? I think Kansas
has the ability to be really good. I also think that they're a team that can't absorb a lot of injury, and that's their problem. They have a bunch of talent. When healthy, they're a great football team. But again, the injury situation in football is what separates teams like Kansas from the best teams in the country. And that's the hard part. So if Kansas stays healthy, yeah, I think you're spot on. I think they're competing for the Big 12 championship. I think that at that point, I don't think they win the championship, but yeah, I think they're in the college football playoff conversation in, October, November. Like, I think you're in that conversation for sure.
Yeah.
If you're healthy.
I think that it is. If Jalen Daniels is healthy, they're going to play for the championship. They're going to play for the conference, the Dr. Pepper championship game. I think they will play. But I mean, you look at the quarterbacks in this league. Who's better than Jalen Daniels? Everybody's healthy. Who's the best quarterback in the Big 12? It's Jalen Daniels. Somebody make the argument for me. Tell me I'm wrong.
Well,
Alan Bowman, bro.
I mean, come on. Like,
Alan
let's not
Bowman.
be disrespectful. I mean, come on.
I mean, is
think
Garrett Green in the conversation as the best quarterback in the Big 12?
No.
I don't think he is. I mean, Barron Morton at Tech has to be there.
Well,
I think Cam Rising has to prove it.
He's the only other guy.
But I think I disagree with that because I think the best quarterback in the conference is Jalen Daniels. What about Shedeur Sanders? I don't know. The conversation we had yesterday, I don't know what Colorado's going to be. But I do know that Shedeur Sanders has an offensive line.
Yeah, he's got an offensive line. He's got good talent. I mean, theoretically, should have a good season. What do we make of this conversation that we always have around quarterbacks about, playing in games of consequence? I mean, Shedeur's only problem so far is that, he's hasn't had the opportunity to play in conference championship level games yet. They just haven't gotten that far yet. And I think that's what's hard is that I feel like, Cam Rising has that feather in his cap where he's played in these huge games and obviously everyone's going to go right to, oh, well, he couldn't win the Rose Bowl, but it's like, hey, he got hurt in the game. Like, what do you want him to do?
Well, Noah Fafita's in the conversation somewhere. I mean, he's got McMillan's a hell of a wide receiver.
I mean arm talent wise, Fafita's a great quarterback. The guy's got a cannon.
I just don't know what Shedeur Sanders is. And if Jordan Seaton can be what we all think he can be, and they have a full unit up front. Shedeur Sanders is going to not only be the best quarterback in the Big 12, he's probably going to be a Heisman candidate. He's that talented.
Did you see this rumor?
I need to see it. I need to see it on the field.
Did you guys see the rumor going around the Jerry Jones world with Shedeur that the reason Jerry isn't paying dudes is because he's waiting for Shedeur in the draft and he wants to kind of reset, might be strong, but he wants a fresh body. Like, that's the kind of attention that Shedeur is garnering, allegedly. So when you're talking about the best quarterback in the Big 12, just from a raw talent perspective, Shedeur's got to be there. But I take into account, okay, yeah, raw talent's got to be the first thing. Big arm guy, not big arm guy, mobile. Like, what kind of quarterback are you? Okay, well, Shedeur's kind of the total package. Cam's kind of the total package. You know, Shedeur's got a better arm than Cam Rising, in my opinion, but Cam probably mentally reading the defense, understanding what's happening, probably has a little bit of an edge just because he's played more big games. He has that edge. So I think it's close. But yeah, I think it's Cam Rising, Shedeur, Daniels.
Everybody's got these stories hanging over their heads.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't see much drama in Lawrence unless Jalen's not healthy and that back goes out again. Or, you know, like, again, I look at Josh Hoover and I say, okay, well, he's a very interesting guy, Josh Hoover. I need to see it. I mean, I need to see him. Is he the guy that threw for 340 yards a game? Because he looked really, I mean, he took over. He was a starter there. Like, I think that's going to be very interesting. And I just wonder, how good TCU will be. I wonder how good K-State's going to be. They have an incredibly difficult schedule and a full new offense and a quarterback who's not a thrower but a runner, which never ends well. So I wonder how much of this comes down to who stays healthy. And I know that's really moronic and simplistic of me, but I wonder how much of this comes down to who stays healthy. And if you're a running first quarterback, I don't have high hopes for you.
Right.
Which is what worries me about K-State. If you have a back injury, Tony Romo, that's what worries me about Jalen Daniels. You know, Cam Rising, I think Cam Rising is 43 years old. I think this is his 11th season at Utah. I kid. I wonder how healthy Cam Rising will be. And he's not somebody, in my opinion, who can be the same player he was. And this is the one thing at Utah that I wonder about. I think he cannot be the same reckless, abandoned quarterback he was. We've seen that movie. And I just don't think that adds up.
Right.
You know, and RX, you're not wrong. Avery Johnson's a really good quarterback. Mike Smith, Ollie Gordon. Yeah, he probably should be their quarterback.
Bro, that is, Mike, I will give you credit, bro. That's elite level trolling right there. That's elite, dude.
Sumbry, stop it. He's not Brandon Whedon. Let's go, Brandon Bowman. Okay. Derek says Sanders can't read complex. That's completely wrong. Shedeur Sanders has never had an issue reading defenses. Never. And his offensive line might be new. They've been together now for months. And they have some of the top offensive line talent, both in recruiting. Like the idiots in the comments section yesterday, Dan doesn't recruit. Yeah, well, apparently he does, because everybody was like, two people in the comment section yesterday, 82nd recruiting class. Well, tell that to Travis Hunter. 82nd recruiting class, Marty. Okay, well, if we go up and down and we look at the talent on that roster, are you telling me Jordan Seaton? No, Dion can't recruit. So what were his areas of need? Defensive and offensive line. Yeah, those guys are always ranked in the top of the class. No, they're not. He got one of the best offensive tackles available.
Yeah.
In Jordan Seaton. And I remind you, he isn't just getting into classes in the dorm today. The guy was a mid-year enrollee. Come on. Like, it is going to be very interesting that we will see a guy, in my opinion, in Seton that is going to have freshman tackle problems, but he's going to have a lot of strong as well.
And I think the conversation around Shedeur is just, what is Shedeur like when he has protection? We all know what he's like when he's running around, but I think the hallmark of great quarterbacks is, hey, as a defense, you have to respect my ability to run, but I'm going to be pocket first, and I'm going to be looking for my guys, in the route tree. And I think that's the hard part, is that, and this would apply to Cam Rising too, I feel like, where, you have to figure out who's going to be the secondary receiver that's going to make a contribution, because
exactly right.
It can't just be Travis Hunter. It can't just be Brant Kuithe. And I think that's the hard part for both of these programs, is like, yeah, they did get better in the trenches in Boulder. They theoretically should be able to run the ball for 3.5, 4 yards. You really should be able to be in 2nd and 5, 3rd and 3. Like, you should be in manageable down and distance. But the problem is that, is that going to hold true? Is another question that I think is huge for Deion this year. Is the play calling going to change offensively because you're able to run the ball more? Because early last year,
you did lose Dylan Edwards. Let's not forget that. I mean, he's at K-State.
Yeah.
So, Dallin Hayden is, Dallin Hayden's going to get every opportunity to be this year's Ollie Gordon.
Yeah. And that's my point. Like, who else? It can't just be the Shedeur show on offense. It's got to be, like, you got to have more balance. And that's why I say Colorado, because of Deion, with all due respect to Deion, is a love-hate thing for college football fans. You either respect his grind and you understand what he's trying to do, or you hate the guy. You hate the antics. You hate, how he runs the program.
But again,
like,
all this press conference nonsense means nothing on Saturday.
Well, I disagree with that.
Talent, and he's got depth.
The problem is, if you're gonna do this stuff in press conferences, you have to win to garner respect.
Right, but why does Deion do this? Why did he do it at the end of last year? Because who are you talking about? You're talking about Deion Sanders. Are you talking about Pat Shurmur? You're not. Are you talking about the fact that you lost a really good running back? You're not. You're talking about Deion being a jackwagon instead of, hey, can your offensive line? Why do you think Deion didn't want to answer that question? Because he doesn't want you talking about his offensive line. He wants you talking about anything other than that. And I think he's doing a great job. I think, again, the thing that nobody wants to say about Deion Sanders is that Pat Shurmur's his offensive coordinator now. It's not Sean Lewis. It's not a gimmick. He's got a legitimate foundational offensive line. He's got an all-world quarterback, really talented wide receivers. The question is, can a kid that transferred from Ohio State and Hayden be a number 1 running back at Colorado? We're going to find out. But again, what was their other big problem last year? They couldn't tackle Jake. They couldn't tackle anybody.
And their secondary, from a schematic perspective, was terrible.
453 yards a game. 124th in defense, giving up 35 points a game.
And by the way, how long is Travis Hunter playing both sides of the football? Because if you want to win, he's not going to be able to do that forever.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I'm looking at their depth. I mean, Levanta Bentley and Trevor Woods are fantastic. Fantastic. And I think, what are you going to say to Travis Hunter? Hey, kid, you're the best cover corner in the country. We're not going to be able to let you play defense. Hey, you're one of the top 5 wide receivers in the draft rankings. We can't have you play offense.
Dude, I'm just telling you, when you're 80 to 100 snaps a game as a player, you're not going to be able to do that forever. And he can, I'm sure he can do it this year, and they'll let him do it. And I don't even disagree with what you're saying, right? He's great on both sides of the football. This is the Ohtani conversation. How long are you going to let Ohtani be a pitcher and a hitter. Like the body can't take the beating.
But isn't that what Okunlola is doing there? The transfer from Oak State, they had nobody behind Travis Hunter last year.
Yeah.
Well, now you've got Okunlola and you've got Preston Hodge as well. Like you've got Shiloh Sanders back there. Like you actually have. The biggest question is how quickly can they stop the run? How quickly can they stop the run? And can you keep Will Shedeur Sanders? Will he be breathing and will he have a heartbeat after the first week of the season? Will his back be in one piece? I think it will. I think it will. And Jordan Seaton is going to be, I think he's going to be just fine. All the haters, we can sit here and we can talk about all that. He's got talent on the outside. He's got talent at the quarterback. And I think he's got a lot of talent on the offensive line. And I think he's going to be fine. Oh, did I mention? I know this is crazy. They open with North Dakota State. Good luck. Well, Monty, it's North Dakota State. They should. Do you know? You don't know about North Dakota State, do you? You probably don't. But it's fine. We'll see. How many degrees does Cam have? 24.
Yeah.
Cam Rising's actually a really smart dude. Lopes fan Gabe, good morning to you. RX says Shedeur needs a dual purpose tight end for blocking and checkdowns. We'll see. Shermer certainly does love his compact offenses at times. I mean, he really does like playing in the middle. So we'll see. Big Blue Horses, this is the make or break year for Colorado. There has to be a big jump, 7 to 10 wins. I think you got to go to a bowl game. You got to go to a bowl game.
7 wins in a bowl game, and you're good to go.
Yeah, you have to go to a bowl game, in my opinion. It's as simple as that. James, Deion Sanders has too much bravado. If the press asks a question, answer the question.
See, again, apply the same logic to yourself. Like,
why do you keep going to that?
Because people want to hate on Deion Sanders. And then when your boy makes an absolute buffoon of himself at Big 12 Media Days,
Mike Gundy,
you don't want to answer a question about Mike and the fact that nobody at that school is going to question him.
I think the biggest issue for Prime is he has very thin skin and he's an excellent politician. You're going to talk about what he wants to talk about because who's going to tell him not to? Like,
I'd rather have a head coach who answers the question he wants to answer versus a head coach who doesn't get asked a question and goes on some diatribe about drinking and being irresponsible. That I would rather have Prime than Mike Gundy. I'd say that 100%.
I think that I would rather have Mike Gundy than Deion Sanders today. Let's not get carried away. Let's see. Who else? Kevin, you guys are clueless. Avery Johnson's a pro-style quarterback with speed who can't fucking complete a pass. Didn't he complete like 59%? Like he's sub 60%, my guy. 2023, 56%. 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Oh, but Monty, he's a run speed guy. He doesn't run first. 52 carries, 296 yards. For a not running quarterback, he had 56 carries. Do you understand that he had more carries than completed passes last year? A pro-style quarterback with speed. I'm clueless. Why did he run so much? Oh, because he's not an accurate passer, and he's going to have to prove that he can be in a very difficult conference with defense. I'm clueless. This is the comment. This is the comment that makes me crazy. If you believe that Avery Johnson is a throw-first pro-style quarterback, I don't know what are you watching Avery Johnson, the former basketball player? Is that who you're talking about? Because you're not talking about the quarterback at K-State. Sorry, dude. When you complete 56% of your passes, and I watched far too much K-State football last year for my own health. There was one pro-style quarterback in that system last year, and his name was not Avery Johnson. So again, why do I read non-member comments? I don't know. Monty does not like Mott's applesauce. No, I don't. That's a very good point. It's a very good point. All Prime had to say is, yes, my O-line will be better. You're not. When has Deion Sanders ever said that? Hey, coach, how's your day going? I'm fine, thanks. When does he ever say that? That's not who Deion Sanders is, has ever been, or will ever be. He's not. Deion Sanders does what he wants to do, when, where, and how he wants to do it. Mike Gundy likes to have several drinks and, according to himself, get in a car and drive. Who's going to question him or discipline him about that? Apparently nobody.
All Mike had to say was, yeah, you know what? That Ollie made a mistake, and we'll handle it internally.
We take DUIs very seriously here. It's not something we would ever tolerate. So we're working with Ollie, on that situation, and that's all I'm going to say about it.
But what did Mike say?
Well, who hasn't done that? I've done that a million times.
Must have done 1,000 times in my life.
About?
Like,
what are you talking
this
about?
is what I mean about, like, and we've seen this before. This is why I'm so aggressive with this response. We see that Prime has this effect on people where they want to apply one standard to Deion because of the way he delivers his message. He's a little more in your face with it, a little more brash. His style's a little more out there. But then when your guy does something, frankly stupid, we don't want to, we're not asking questions of Mike Gundy. We're not. And then we want to sit here and say, like, oh yeah, well, man, I'd rather have Mike than Deion because Mike wins on average 8.5 to 9 games a year for the last 20 years, but has never been in a position to go to the college football playoff, hasn't been national championship relevant in how long. But yeah, because, he's the pinnacle of we'll win enough games, but not win the game. That's who we want as our head coach. That's my problem.
Brandon Butler, who's been a member of the show for 19 months.
Damn.
Came rising because old age and treachery will always beat youth and exuberance.
Who's came rising, bro?
I said rising is better than Bowman. I agree. Everybody's better than Bowman. Avery Johnson's a better. Okay, let's not get carried away. Avery Johnson's a better runner than Alan Bowman. How about that? That's me being a red ass. But you guys are clueless. Will Rodgers is a true dual threat quarterback. I read it. Don't know if James did. Read what? I don't know what that means. RX, damn you, autocorrect. You're never living that down. You are never living that down. Hour number 2 of the Monty program, presented by Prize Picks. I understand that hyenas have very small brains. So I told you yesterday on the show, like, 2 dudes are like, it's a scam, bro. It's like, how is it a scam? So Rod, which is why I didn't want to say the name, because people have to make dick jokes. Rodney yesterday, who is just an unapologetic,
right,
Texas Longhorns fan.
Texas.
Said to me on DM yesterday, hey, bro, I'm willing to take a shot, but I feel like Prize Picks doesn't just give away $50. So what did he do? He opened an account on Prize Picks, used the promo code Monty, deposited $10, and what did they do? They gave him $50. It's like, dude, you were so right. I fucking know. I know. Because it's not a scam.
But Monty, you're clueless. This is a scam.
This is how good the deal is at Prize Picks, that people don't believe they'll actually give you the $50 in your account. Yes, they will. Prize Picks. Download the app on your phone right now. Use the promo code Monty, 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 and deposit $5 in a new account. Prize Picks will give you $50 when you deposit $5 in a new account. And you can play for months on $55. Trust me when I say you can play for months. I would like to... Last night, and I'm just going to tell you this now. I'm not the guy who's like, oh, yeah, I always win on Prize Picks every night. No, you jackwagons. No, you don't. I tend to ride with the New York Yankees.
What the hell was that last night? Like,
Alex Verdugo, I hated you from the minute you were a Dahlier.
Because it's garbage.
Thank you for that 0 for 3 last night. I would also like to pronounce that Jazz came Chisholm. That Jazz Chisholm is a stud. Jazz Chisholm last night is the only one who came through for me. Because I had him at 1.5 total bases, my guy.
yeah.
2 for 3 with a run last night. That's my dude.
Nice.
Now. As a painful, long-suffering, recticide Cubs fan, I finally can say that Seiya Suzuki is my friend. Because Seiya Suzuki had 2 hits last night. And when you have him at 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, and he gets you 2 hits, an RBI, and a run, your boy brought home 31.
Don't miss.
I won $31.25 on Prize Picks last night. Gleyber Torres is a fraud. And why I went with anybody but Aaron Judge last night, it's beyond me.
Yeah, but Aaron Judge still flew out to the track. Like, come on, bro.
He did, but I'd have been 3 for 3 and walked away with $65 last night.
Mm.
All you have to do, here's the formula to win on Prize Picks. New account, promo code Monty. Deposit $5, they'll give you $50. Make 3 selections. Aaron Judge, 2.5 total bases, more or less. That's it. 3 selections. Play a flex for $5. That means you only have to win 2 or 3. Play for a year and $55. I mean, it is that simple. Prize Picks, the official daily fantasy partner of the Monty Show. Join the tens of millions that are playing Prize Picks every day in this country. I love it. Hit me on the old X machine if it works. Good thing you don't need volume to tweet somebody your Prize Picks for the day. And let's play Prize Picks together. Prize Picks, the official daily fantasy partner of the Monty Show. James, RX, you might be right. Gundy says a dumb comment and then everyone bashes him instead of Ollie. He didn't say that on purpose. I'm sorry. How am I going to protect Ollie Gordon? Let me admit I've driven drunk thousands of times. That'll do the trick. I'm going to say that's not what he's saying. Mike Smith, can I use that 50 to buy tacos? You probably, I don't know. Why don't you try? James, you could spend anywhere from $500 to $1,000. Find a woman who likes sports. I did, and I am truly happy.
So you bought your wife?
And it only cost you $500? Where do I get that deal? My wife spends $500 a week just on organic kale. Good Christ. So we get this farm to table box. Quick Monty's not fat anymore story. We get this farm to table box every week.
Yeah.
Dude, they can I tell you that farm fresh eggs are way better than bought in the store eggs? They are. I happen to be a huge fan of eggs. For lunch yesterday, they happened to be on a kale run on the farm to table box. I never thought that I would eat kale. I have juiced it and it is wonderful. We sauteed some kale, mushrooms, and onions. We got some fresh shiitake mushrooms and some onion.
Yeah.
I poured that on top of ground turkey yesterday. I put some Ken's ranch dressing on the top. That was exquisite. That's one of the best lunches I've ever had. And you know what my wife made for... Just take one guess real quick. What do you think Mrs. Monty made for dinner last night?
Something with quinoa.
Nope. How about Heritage Flakes in peanut butter almond milk with peaches on top? And it was amazing. My wife, we eat all natural peanut butter, so it quite literally is just peanuts. That's it. She took peanut butter and mixed it in almond milk, poured Heritage Flakes, which essentially are just bran flakes, into a bowl with peaches and that peanut butter milk. It's the best bowl of cereal I've ever had.
Nice.
I'm telling you, it was awesome. Mike Smith, mail order brides from Ukraine are half off right now. Okay. Willie Wilson, I will try Prize Picks after the show. Put in code Monty. Got it. Exactly right. Did you guys see someone asked about a divorce attorney? You drink almond milk? Yes. I have not had regular cow's milk in over 10 years.
Yep.
Over 10. Again, you guys call me crazy for all this nutritional stuff that I do. Go get your blood work done. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah, the
after
milk
that.
thing I feel like isn't really in question. I feel like that's been pretty well vetted out.
If you're drinking animal milk, you just know that you are drinking a heart attack. It's fat, and do you understand that cow's milk is meant to fatten up the calf? That's it. That's all cow's milk is meant to do, is to put weight on a baby cow.
To help them grow.
I drink almond milk. Yes, I do. And I like it. I don't knock it till you try it. Monty likes nut milk. I do. Speaking of nut milk and mail order brides, real quick story. Did you guys see the new research that came out on prostate cancer?
Mm.
You need to become a landscaper because men who spread seed more frequently have a far less chance of getting prostate cancer.
The stat was 21 times a month will lower your risk by 35%.
Strengthen them forearms, boys.
You better get to work.
Strengthen those forearms.
21 times a month? Like, I'm not complaining, but that's a lot of work, dude. Like, dude.
You say things that I just don't understand.
I don't think you understand.
You think 21 times a month is a lot?
21 times a month. Do the math on that, bro.
Yeah, it's called 21 out of 30. Ain't that difficult?
Please.
Are you serious?
Okay. If you want to talk about how much you're willing to go to the spank bank, that's fine. But I'm telling you, the average human being.
I'm not even talking about the spank bank, bro.
Who has a wife. You're telling me that you're knocking it down 21 times a month
in combination. Yeah, that's very realistic.
Okay. Hey, I don't think that's very realistic for the average dude. I don't. And that's fine, dude.
Yeah, please respect my privacy. Next question.
Guy, it's not even once a day.
Yeah,
it's not even once a day. It's not even once a day.
Right, but it's just under once a day.
No, it's not. Are you out of your...
I know. I'm crazy.
Take the weekends off. You're still getting it 21 times a month.
Okay. You're not, actually. You're not. You'd have to do it one weekend day a month. Every weekday and one weekend day a month. You would.
Do you know how to read a kid? Okay. I'm telling you, it's not that much.
Okay.
It's in the comment section. Is 21 times, is lifting the rocket off 21 times a month a lot? I don't think
Guess
that's
what? Today Monday, motherfucker.
Yeah, time. It's not that much. That's crazy to me. It's that much.
I think for the average dude, that's a lot. I do. I think for the average dude, that'd be a lot.
I think I could do double that pretty easily.
Well, that's fine. Not everybody's you. I think the average person would. I think 21 times in a month is a lot for the average dude.
Wow. Tanner Plummer, lower your chance of getting prostate cancer, higher chance of getting AIDS.
Bro,
Guy,
what are you doing? Like, see, we give you runway. We give you the opportunity to come in here and make it better, and this is what you do for us. Like, what? Like, you say I say dumb stuff. Like, I don't say that level of silly.
Jimmy Otson, that's not a lot. Thank you. Severe. I used to drink 3 gallons of milk a week in my teenage years. Now I drink about just water about 80% of the time. Me too. Willie Wilson. Looks like I got to break out my old black book.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Hey, Jenny, it's Marty. You remember me from the summer of 86?
Yeah, I know what time it is.
I got to pump some numbers up. Why don't you come on over to the crib? Remember that Toyota Celica, Jennifer? Marty, remember who you're talking to. Of course, Jake thinks that's a lot. Spank Bank isn't the only way to do it. That's what I'm saying.
I am aware, bro. I never said that was the only way to do it. Good Lord, man. Like, I never said the Spank Bank was the only
you gotta,
way to do
my
it,
guy,
bro.
you gotta get your testosterone checked.
I never said that was the only way to do it. I didn't say that.
Giggity, 21 times seems a little low.
Okay, whatever. Fuck off.
There's
no way. There's no way. You guys are just trolling right now.
No,
That's
we're not.
all you're doing.
No, we're
That's
not.
all you're doing.
No, we're not.
I see you from a mile away.
Anthony Easton, that's only 1 time a day for 21 days out of 30. It ain't that much for a guy like you. That's 27 seconds a day, 21 times. Like, that's not that much. Cam Harrison, I need a girlfriend now. Exactly. Are you kidding me? Anthony Easton, imagine being too lazy to spank.
Stay hard. Okay, that's funny. That's funny. I'll give you credit. That's funny.
What I'm saying.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah. The average dude would do it every day if possible. Women don't want to party that much. You know.
Is that why you paid for your wife?
Keith Carl, hit the kitchen, mix a batch. Nobody really buys their wife, do you?
No.
Nobody mail order brides. Hit the kitchen, mix a batch.
Don't play intramurals, brother.
Is this a millennial thing? I think it is, and I'm serious. I'm the guy that gets my blood checked every year. I'm the guy, and I can't remember I think my testosterone's in like the.
Oh yeah, it's on the 800 percentile.
It's on the no, it's not. I think like high levels of testosterone are 800. I think is the top of the mountain, right? 890 would be the very top. You want your testosterone to be a minimum of 300. Mine's 433. 52 years old, gonna be. Mine's 433. And I'm 21 times seems a little light. You don't know what your testosterone is because guy won't get a physical every year.
I know, makes me a bad person. I get it.
Won't do it.
I get it.
But why won't you do it? Jake, once you swipe your V card, you'll know 21 is not a lot.
Sure, you're and you're the soaking expert.
The V card. That's exactly right. Giggity, Tanner, go to timeout.
Yeah.
26 times a month easily, Sean Rollins says. Easily.
I'm just saying, if you guys are willing to have a realistic conversation about it.
No, Mike. No, Mike. No, Mike. No, Mike.
Dude.
No.
And then you guys wonder why I don't work Fridays. This is what I put up with, dude.
What are we doing?
Yeah, no kidding. Our days off are coming to an end.
Like you wonder why we take Fridays off when we get dudes saying, while I'm watching the show, I'm going to the Spank Bank, man. It's great.
Is it possible that they could ride the D?
Like,
oh man, Anthony Easton. That's the spirit, Mike.
You got to get stroked.
John Hamm, 12 to 13 times a month, 7-8 times a month on the off days. So 20 or more is a normal thing. It is very normal and healthy.
Yeah, maybe it is. Yeah.
It's very normal and healthy.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure.
That's a lot of hamburgers and shakes. Okay, no hand motions. UW fan Jim, I had a buddy that was a mail order husband to an Australian woman. It worked out about as well as you would think.
I think I've hit it every time.
Hey, bro, are you guys hiring mail order grooms? I think I'm available. Jake doesn't work Fridays and still can't get to 21.
I love how you all assume that I don't get to 21.
You
Just
don't.
because-
You
just
clearly
because-
don't.
Just because I said, I think for the average dad, the 9-to-5er, the average person who's dealing with life, I don't buy that the average person does it 21 times a month. I don't buy that.
You're now you're going to try and sell us that you get to 21 times a month.
Yeah, I easily. See, this is what happens. This is why I don't give my opinion regularly.
You've sat
This
here
is why
for 10
I
minutes
don't
and
give
said it's
you
impossible.
my honest opinion. I didn't say it was impossible.
Ah! Okay. Okay. I hope you do. I hope you do. I do.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. Jake needs a shake weight for Christmas. Exactly right. Cam Harrison, every man needs to change their oil. No, they don't.
See?
Do you know what that means? No. UW fan Jim, you need a men's clinic sponsor for today's show.
So-called experts.
The things we refuse to talk about. I just like the doctor thing with you is weird. Like, I think it's weird that guys don't. You remember when we were young, we're like, I know not to pleasure myself. I would never do that. Everybody does it. Everybody does it.
The name of the game.
Everybody does it. And I don't understand why. Why as guys do we not know what our testosterone is on a regular basis? Like, how many people here know what their testosterone is? And I'm the only wingnut that's willing to share it. I'm totally down with that. I'm totally down with that. And I get it. And I'm fine with it. What I'm saying is we all as men need to understand that we got to know that number. You've got to, when you're 35, and I don't know how many people know this, when you turn 35, you need to get a colonoscopy. The numbers of millennials getting colon cancer and prostate cancer is absolutely through the roof. It's terrifying. The numbers are horrendous in this country. And a lot of it is because, God, you'll drink almond milk? That's disgusting. Exactly my point. Because we don't eat well. And then when we sit around and we talk about seed spreading, we're like, oh my God. Like, we need to be able to have like healthy conversations. I think it's really important. Monty, 21 times a month, you're ready to try it with a woman now? I'm not. I haven't graduated to that.
Oh my God, just like that. Oh.
I'm only averaging like 12, like.
It's a big 12.
It's funny. My doctor and I joked about it. Like, it's things that guys don't want to talk about. And I don't know what, like, why is it embarrassing to talk about colonoscopies or prostate health or I'm totally open to it. Now, I'm more of an extrovert. I talk about everything. I'm not, I really don't have much of a filter, if you will, because I just think it's really important. I think if you don't know what's going on in your gut health, I think it's huge. Like, my barber is a guy that has stomach issues in his family, like serious, severe stomach issues. And for the longest time, he didn't want to get checked because he was too scared. And it's like, we talked and talked and talked about it. He finally got checked. He was fine. Now he knows. Go get checked, man. Like, I think it's hugely important. No, now having gotten a colonoscopy, knowing the process is not nearly as difficult as people make it to be. I would handle it completely different. Like what they call the prep, I'd handle it completely different. But you go get a physical, they don't. Everybody's like, oh, time to drop your pants. Dude, you don't even get undressed anymore when you get a physical. The doctor in the room with you when you're getting a physical, at least I go to a place called U Health in Salt Lake City, University of Utah Health in Salt Lake City. You're not getting like an oil change. You're not getting, like, guys not fondling these nuts. Like, it doesn't work like that anymore. You know what they do? They make you fill out some paperwork and it's like, hey, what's your family history on this? What about this? What about that? How are you feeling? Any issues today? And he's going to ask you like, hey, how is your sexual health? How is your, like, they screen you much more. Oh, hey, I don't poop on a regular basis. Well, let's talk about that. Like what? That's how they do it now. And so it's so easy to go get a a physical. I think I was at my doctor for 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe. And a lot of that is just talking about health. He looked at my knee. He looked at he examined my nodes and my throat and my ears and my eyes. And we had the normal looky stuff. And then we talked about men's health. He straight up asked me, how's your sexual health? How are you feeling? And I said, I'd love to get a testosterone test, but I don't have any complaints. I have no problem performance-wise. I have no problem. He's like, yeah, let's check your testosterone. Might as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not an awkward thing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think so many guys are scared of it. I guess is scared of it the right way to put it? I don't know. I just hope that more people will go and get your physical once a year, because we're such a fat society. And it's so odd the way, I'm railing on this now, but the way that I've changed the food that we eat. Mrs. Monty, my wife, absolutely has changed what we eat. I realize how much, just not even like going and getting a burger and fries. Like, that's obvious you can't do that. But like the way that I would, the little thing, the ranch dressing, like I started reading the label on this. I love this Lighthouse ranch dressing. Terrible for you. First thing, vegetable oil. Stop buying it. Like you start looking at this little stuff. Like how much added sugar am I eating on a regular basis? None Monday through Friday. When I play golf, generally I eat a Reese's, or not a Reese's, a Rice Krispie treat. That's added sugar. Sunday after we were done playing golf, I felt like ass. Mrs. Monty and I split a Snickers bar. That's about it. When I think back to all the added sugar I was eating, oh my God. It's little stuff like that. It's not the core terrible things you eat every day. Potato chips. Do you know how many bags of chips I ate? Terrible. Yeah. It's just, it's odd. Glenn, I just went on my medical app to revisit my T number, almost 500, and I got 10 years on you. Yeah, exactly right, dude. And your testosterone isn't just about your sexual health. Your energy levels, your ability to sleep, your ability to process, your body's process just on living a normal, healthy lifestyle. And the funny thing is, like I tried to I asked my doctor, hey, can I get on testosterone, TRT therapy? Nope, sorry, can't do it. It's your testosterone is above the norm. Okay. So I reached out to several men's health providers here in Utah, in Salt Lake City. None of them would take me on as a patient because my number's too high. 433, my testosterone number is 433. 433 is too high. If you're in the low threes, they'll have a conversation with you. Anything below 300, your doctor should be able to give you therapy. But my point is, know the number, have the conversation. Is 433 a good number or a bad number? Turns out it's a great number for my age. 500, I think you're probably great. Ranch dressing is temporarily ruined for me. Dude.
Yeah.
If you start reading labels,
it's not good.
My wife even had me reading labels on ketchup bottles. Do you know how much corn syrup is in ketchup if you don't buy the right ketchup? It's terrible, dude. Absolutely terrible. I felt like a real chemist when I wrap up the box.
Okay.
Tanner Plummer, I guess the reason I don't go to the doctor is because the last couple of times the doctor tried to convince me that I had major issues in order to get more money when it wasn't true. Well, I don't know who your doctor is. That's not been my experience at all. I've been going to the same guy now for 4 years. And thankfully, I see my doctor once a year. Every August, I get my physical, and that's it, thankfully. My doctor recommends nothing for me. Like I said to him, hey, I want to go see a dermatologist. I'm in the sun a lot. I play a lot of golf. I have like a little aging spot, as it turns out to be. He's like, no, you're just old, man. That's an age spot. And he's like, I'm happy to refer you to a dermatologist. You want to get checked. And so I'm going to go. I have an appointment in October.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, dude, Like I hope we all see our doctor once a year. But the problem is if you don't go to the doctor, you're not going to know what that little pain is. You're not going to know what that, I don't feel, or I poop irregularly, or I have performance issues. Yeah, but I'm not going to go. I'm not going to tell somebody that. That's when you get yourself in trouble. Andy Blackwell, what's up, my guy? Enjoy life for now. A healthy person isn't exempt from a heart attack tomorrow. Truth. But if you go to the doctor and get your blood work done and your physical and your numbers, you will know if you're even at risk for a heart attack. Like the numbers are so very clear. The things they look at, things like A1C, triglyceride, cholesterol, good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, fat in your blood, like all that stuff tells a story. Your resting heart rate, like sleeping health. We had a sleep study on the show for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And you would be amazed how many people went and got that sleep study and like, dude, I have sleep apnea. I snore like a freight train.
Yeah.
Telling you got to get checked. Yeah, absolutely. And I think when you look at the scary thing for me is when and you're exactly right, Andy, like we're all on the clock. Your heart's only going to beat so many times in this life. But I'm a big believer in you got to bulletproof that shit. Like you got to take vitamins. You've got to take, because I'm not the fittest person in the world. We've talked about this on the show as well. My doctor straight up said, you're fat. You need to lose body fat. You've got to lose body fat. And he said to me, because again, I've been seeing the same guy once a year for 4 years.
Right.
I've lost, the scale number has come down significantly since I started seeing him. My blood work has improved significantly. But he said to me, how many years are we going to talk about you losing body fat? Or is this year you're actually going to do something? And that like hit me hard, dude. I was like, yeah, this has got to be the year I do something. Because I don't, obviously I don't love, walking around looking fat. I have terrible body image.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the way I look. I just don't like it. But it's up to me to do something about it. My doctor can tell me, hey, he said you're never going to have a heart attack. He's like, I wouldn't worry about, I'm not telling you to lose weight because you're going to have a heart attack. I'm telling you to lose weight because you don't have an ACL in your knee and you play a lot of golf. That's why he's telling me to lose weight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's me making bad decisions as to why I'm fat, period. So it's got to stop.
Well, and I think that's what's hardest people to deal with. Like it's not like we always talk about routine. Like it's hard to like get, it's hard to like work it back into your routine, and I feel like, when you look at people like on Instagram as an example, you see all these folks who are like fitness influencers, and you understand like how much time is required to be in that type of shape. So just the time it would take to go on a plan, a fitness strategy, a fitness plan where your objective is to cut body fat. You're talking about, to do it the right way, you're probably talking about an hour of your day where you would warm up, you would stretch your body.
Jesus, can you imagine like guys like Steve Cook?
Yeah, like a guy like Steve Cook
who's got a 6-pack of abs. Can you imagine the average human being, just a dude, me or you? Do you know what it would take for us to have a 6-pack? Like to have abdominal muscles you can see, because we all have a 6-pack. You just can't see it. Do you know how much work that is? And do you know how precise you have to be with your nutrition? I will never.
But see,
I will never play the guitar on my abdomen.
That's the beautiful thing about it, though. We don't have to have that. We don't have to be that good.
Correct.
What we need is balance. We need like, for me, like my big thing is like I'm getting to a point where I'm like, man, like I need to find a way to get more physical activity in the day to day. And so like been walking more at night and like doing things after work is over, because I get tired. I get tired at like 8:30. I run out of energy, and that's hard because we're up so early.
And for me, I need to strength train. That is the one major thing. It's so weird, the things we do. So my doctor and I were looking at my phone. We're looking at my health app for Apple, and he said, "You're walking plenty. I need you to lift heavy once a week and have 2 more strength training sessions." He said, all I'm asking you to do is go to the gym 3 times a week and lift. And he's not wrong. And so now we're going to the gym on our lunch hour. And it's like, that's the sacrifice you make. Do I sit around and Do I sit around at lunch and relax, or do I go to the gym? I don't have time to do it after work. I play golf after work pretty much 7 nights a week. I am doing something. I play 3 rounds of golf a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then Monday through Friday, like last night, it was really disappointing. It was pouring rain and thundering. We had huge storms here in Utah.
Which, by the way, were amazing.
They were, but that meant I couldn't swing my golf club last night.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to wind up going to the gym today at lunch. And then after work, I'm going to go out back. I have a whole golf set up in my yard, and I'm going to swing my golf club for an hour.
Yeah.
So I get enough activity if I go to the gym on lunch. But the hard part is, like today, I woke up at 4 o'clock to try and get this tee time. So I'm up at 4 a.m. and I'm not going to probably lay down until 8:30. And I'll be asleep hopefully by 9.
And that's outside of football season.
Yeah, during football season, it's completely different. That's why I said, like, our Fridays off. I don't take days off during the football season. I think most people know that. I take a week off at Thanksgiving, and I'll take probably 10 days off at the end of the year. But that's why we take so many Fridays off during the season. But you guys don't give a shit about this. All I'm saying is, it is one of those things where I'm begging you to go to the doctor. If you're apprehensive like me and this guy talk about it all the time, he refuses. He will not go get a physical. It's never going to happen. Even though he's got health insurance and it costs him nothing out of pocket, you are one of those guys. You're much like most guys. I'm 30 years old. I'm fine. Like, trust me, man. It's formed a good habit now. James, my A1C is lower. My cholesterol is down, and I'm under 200 pounds. I was 215 last year. Every 5 pounds makes a massive difference in pressure, pounds per square inch in your joints.
Listen, the reason that I'm not, head over heels to go and get a physical is because, one, I know what the physical is going to say, which is, like right now as an example, I'll say this. Yeah, overweight, need to lose fat, and frankly, need to get in better shape. I can feel that I'm out of shape, and I want to get in better shape, and I'm working on that. And then the other thing that they're going to tell me is, hey, you got to make sure you dial in your diet a little more because you have a family history of cholesterol, so your cholesterol is on the high end for your age. So you need to work out, you need to eat better, and you need to make sure you drink a lot of water because that helps with heart health. That's what they're going to tell me. And other than that, the last time I went and got a physical was 2 years ago, I believe. I can check in the app. I think it was 2 years ago. And that's essentially what he told me. He's like, the doctor literally goes, yeah, if you you probably could lose, 20, 30 pounds at that time, he said. So now that's probably more like 40 pounds, 50 pounds. Honestly, if you lose the weight and you just stay active and, you make sure that you're moving every day, you're going to be fine,
But I would tell you need to know where your cholesterol is. You particularly need to know, because of your family history, where's your A1C, which is your diabetes indicator. Where is your triglycerides, the fat and sugar in your blood? And you need to know what your cholesterol is. There's just no, I think it is one of those things that you have to do every year, no matter how old you are.
And you have to understand that it wasn't, since I got that physical, there was a time where I didn't have the level of health insurance I have now. There was a 18-month window where I didn't have great health insurance, and it was going to cost me a bunch of money to go and do it. And so I wasn't about it. I just wasn't interested in it. But yes, now I have better insurance, probably should go and do it. Like it's yeah.
Yeah,
I've never even said you're wrong about it. My take has never been that you're wrong about going to the doctor. I've never said that. What I've always said is, hey, like, yes, would it be great if I knew my exact A1C number? Yes, that would be great. But you know what? Like, I feel extremely confident that I know exactly what I should be doing and what I need to do. And it's more a matter of, hey, like, yeah, it'd be great to go to the doctor and know your numbers. But the real issue is that you have to implement the day-to-day. And that's what I'm trying to work on right now. I started walking every night this week. Last night I didn't because it was raining, but I started walking every night this week. Obviously I play golf on the weekends, but it's more the day-to-day stuff, like drinking more water, working in more whole foods. I've always been a believer that, a lot of people be like, oh, you got to eat more vegetables. Yes, that's true. You want to eat vegetables, but it's more about the caliber of food you're eating, like cooking at home, making a quality meal for yourself. Like, so you're getting that balance.
And I think you have to have a life partner to do it.
It makes it way easier.
I couldn't or wouldn't. I'm not saying I wouldn't. It would not be easy for me to do it if I were single. I would not. I would never have gotten a farm to table subscription like my wife has for us. I would not have chopped up. I'm like sauteing mushrooms and onions in a pan yesterday. And she walked up with a bowl of kale she chopped up and just poured it into this pan. And I was like, well, goddamn, woman. And then it all shrunk down and sauteed it. And it was amazing. I would never have done that.
Yeah.
And without my wife, I probably wouldn't be going to the gym in the afternoon now at lunch instead of dozing off on the couch because I get up at 4 a.m. I wouldn't be, if my wife did not golf with me, I probably would only play one round of golf a week. If she didn't play Friday nights, if she didn't play on Sundays, if, I think you have to have a life partner. I think it's incredible. Yes, Jimmy, it's good to have a wife that tells you you stop breathing every night. I don't know how I ever avoided having sleep apnea. I don't know how I am not 400 pounds right now. I have no idea. Because I'm telling you, it's super easy to get it. It's super easy to be overweight. UW fan Jim, they did a test. It turned out the doctor was wrong. And even then, he was looking for reasons not for me to be concerned.
But I think that you're
a different
painting,
doctor.
Yeah, you're painting with a broad brush, dude. Like I look, I'm not trying to roast you on this, but find a different doctor. There are plenty of great doctors who give an A1 experience. Like I don't disagree that there are doctors out there doing it for the wrong reasons, but that's anything in life, man. There are cops doing it for the wrong reasons, or politicians, or we see it everywhere.
Now doctors don't have discretion, which is a little scary to me. Like I was talking to my doctor about insurance, and he was saying you have to actually wait at least 365 days between annual physicals. Because my physical last year was like August 13th. This year it was on August 1st. But I have new insurance. I had different insurance, so it was fine. But he was also saying, I can't do anything testosterone-wise because the parameters. It's things like Ozempic, Wegovy, all that stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of insurances won't allow them to write that anymore because they won't cover it if it's not a health need. It's just I would encourage you to find a different doctor. Andy Blackwell, stop, Monty. You're a stud for your age, my guy. Well, and I appreciate you saying that. I struggle with body image.
Well, and I think that
I really do.
It really is this thing where it's like, it's again, we've talked about this a ton on the show. Like doing the show is a massive time commitment. It is. I can tell you right now, we've been doing the show for 10 years. Just this show. You've been doing a show in different forms for 30 years or however many years it's been now. You don't understand how much of a time commitment it is mentally, but secondarily physically to do a show.
The actual minutes of your day.
It's a lot. People think that we just roll up and turn the thing on. Like you can't do that, man. Like you're talking about getting up at 4 a.m. You're talking about the 2 hours we do the show. The probably honestly most nights like probably 2.5 hours of like in football season watching the different games. Preparing your talking points on the games. Like there's a lot that goes into it. So when you're talking about like getting right physically, like that's a huge proponent of it. How do you do that? Like in our case, we both like to golf. Like I'd love to go to the range 5 days a week, but the reality is probably shouldn't be going to the range 5 days a week. Probably should be going to the range like 2 days a week and going to the gym 3-4 days a week. That's probably what's proper. That's the right thing to be doing from a health standpoint.
And for me, my wife says a lot, and I think she's right. We've talked about this on the show. You make time for the things that matter.
Yeah.
I make time for golf. I have a golf set up in my backyard. I don't have to go to the driving range.
It's a phenomenal sport. Let's be honest. Like you're outside, you're walking a lot, you're getting sun, which I'm a huge believer in. Like it's a great sport, but it's also time consuming.
Yeah.
It's not going to the gym for 90 minutes and playing pickup basketball.
Nope.
It's a 3-4 hour portion of your day.
Yep. Giggity says 21 times a month you'll be getting more physical activity. Damn right. Jimmy, I'm glad J2H is a doctor and doesn't need to see one.
I mean, you can be a red ass about it, but that's my opinion. I mean, that's how I look at it.
It's how guys wind up having heart attacks. When your doctor says to you, you're going to have a heart attack if you don't do something about this right now, you tend to do something about it right now. And anymore, the scary thing for me as a parent It's funny. We just had this conversation over the weekend. People who don't have kids do not understand the frustration, the anxiety, the stress that comes with, I'm not going to the doctor because I know what he's going to say. The anxiety that comes with that statement. Because the odd thing is when somebody who knows what he's talking about says you're going to have a heart attack if you don't change this right now, it tends to impact you. I will never forget the 3-foot-tall guy. My wife, again, found us this great yearly physical program. And they used to like every flipping plug and hole and poke and steer. And I will never forget the guy. It's when we lived in Phoenix telling me you're never going to have a heart attack or a stroke. You're going to have to. He's also the guy who ruined Doritos for me. Why do I not eat Doritos anymore? Because that guy said every time you chew on a Dorito chip, just know that you are telling yourself you want diabetes. It's terrible for you. Every time you eat a potato chip, just know that you're telling yourself you want diabetes because it's terrible for you. Like he literally, because they make you fill out all this paperwork, and part of it was, what do you like to eat? What are your core foods? What are your snacks? Like it's an invasive, hey, let's look at your health. And he was going down the list telling me, hey, this, that, this, here, there, like all those things. And the great part was I came back to him and you had these regular checkups, and he straight up said, you're never going to have a heart attack or a stroke. I think he was telling me it's like 1.2% or some stupid number like that. But it's good to know that. And so when he said to me, every time you eat a Dorito, I'll never have a Dorito again. I'll never eat Doritos again because I know how bad they are. I'll never have full sugar cereal again. And I love me. Just hand me a box of Lucky Charms, a piece of Tupperware, and a gallon of almond milk. We good, bro. You can just go ahead and leave. I'll be here. I will never do that again. I will never drink a Mountain Dew again. I will never drink soda again. But the anxiety that comes from, I know what he's going to say, so I'm not going to go. It drives me crazy. Drives me crazy. Tanner Plummer, JD Vance's couch would disagree, UW fan Jim. Oh, geez. What did you say? People who don't have kids don't understand. Who are you, JD Vance? I'm telling you, if you've never raised a child, the fear, the emotion, the stress, the anger, the frustration, the happiness, the joy, you'll never understand it. Damn cat ladies, exactly right. Monty owes a ribeye. A ribeye a day keeps the doctor away. Where's Teddy Wayman? Missed that dude. Andy Blackwell, there's got to be a life balance. It's okay to enjoy food in moderation. It's okay to enjoy a steak once in a while. It's okay. Mrs. Monty and I have a dessert probably once a month. That's all right. But it's what you do on the regular. What are you consistently putting in your body? That's what you have to worry about. These little, you know what I'm addicted to right now? These stupid donut peaches that come in our farm to table box. There are these wonderful little peaches that look like wax rings, like donuts. They're so good. That's what I'm eating regularly. Bananas. I eat blueberries or raspberries or blueberries or blackberries every day. That's what I love. It's fine. It's fine. Mike Phillips, hello. The most surprising thing to me when I started running and hiking is what it did for my mental health. Oh, my God. Don't even start. I mean, it is. Yeah. And this is exactly right, Xavier. Being active is a lifestyle, and it's not easy. It's not easy at all. I don't know. I think I'm probably, I don't want to go to Twitter. I don't want to go to the X.
No, we can save it for tomorrow.
Yeah. We'll save it for tomorrow. We were going to talk about Elon and Donnie and the meltdown technically on Twitter.
Don't worry. There's plenty of time to talk about Donnie and everything going on.
There is. Always good to see you, friends. Go get a physical. Schedule your colonoscopy today. Jake won't. He hates me for talking about this. The Monty Show, as always, presented by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business, where you don't pay the advocates unless and until they win your case. Tell them you heard about it on The Monty Show. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.